There is something wrong. Shouldn't you already know? Should've spelled it out. Let me put it in a song. Every time you make that face, like crawling to a damaged space, out of sync and out of tune, that frequency I can't undo. Please listen close.
Hello, and welcome to FFS. I'm Mia Flores, and welcome back. This week we are continuing our series on Project 2025, but first there is something we need to talk about, and it's this fucking video from Mango Mussolini's rally this week. Fucking roll it.
And again, Christians, get out and vote, just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You gotta get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not gonna have to vote.
Yeah, if you vote for him, you won't ever have to vote again because he'll fix it so you don't have to. That is fucking disgusting. This is where we are right now with one candidate saying that you'll never have to vote again. This is how dictators start. Now, Fox News attempted to give him an out. Watch Laura Ingraham ask the penis potato if he really meant that he was going to stay in office forever.
Not to vote for you because you have 4 years in office.
Look. Christians are known. You know who else doesn't vote? Gun owners don't vote.
But just to be clear, what you're saying, though, you're not saying it's being interpreted as you are not surprised to hear by the left as well. They're never going to have another election. He's saying there's not. So
first time I've even heard.
Can you even just respond to that?
I said Christians. I started off by saying, just so you understand, you never vote. Christians do not vote well. They vote in very small percentages. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're disappointed in things that are happening. But for a long time, I say, you don't vote. I'm saying, go out. You must vote. November 5th is going to be the most important election in the history of our country. Whether you vote early or not, we should have, by the way, one-day voting. We should have voter ID. We should have proof of citizenship. And we should have paper ballots, okay? That's what we should have. But we don't have that. But I said to the Christians in the room, thousands of them, I said, typically, Christians do not vote. Why it is, I don't know. You're rebellious. Something's going on. Don't worry about the future. You have to vote on November 5th. After that, you don't have to worry about voting anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, this was an absolute softball, and he just couldn't say, no, that's not what I meant. At the end of the interview, after a lot of prodding, he finally says, well, I left last time. Yeah, after a failed coup attempt, you fucking fascist freak. Anyway, moving on to our continued breakdown of Project 2025. Chapter 15. Oh, we're chugging right along. The Department of Housing and Urban Development. Page 509 has this to say: the Office of the Secretary should recommends proposed regulation put forward under the Trump administration that would prohibit non-citizens, including all mixed-status families, from living in all federally assisted housing. Sounds okay at first. Prioritize citizens before non-citizens, fine. But let's really dive into this quote. Now, this is not talking about illegal immigrants here. They are already ineligible for support from the HUD. This is about people who are legally in this country, and then there is this mixed status households. That right there means fucking American citizens will be unable to get benefits. And the sad reality is that everyone they are talking about are fucking people, and that is something we keep on forgetting. And if you think this was always the Republican policy, then you would be incredibly mistaken. Listen to George Bush Sr. talk about illegal immigrants and government benefits here.
Yes, my name is David Grossberg, and I'd like to know, do you think that children of illegal aliens should be allowed to attend Texas public schools free, or do you think that their parents should pay for their education?
Who are you addressing that to?
I think you were first in this.
He was looking right at you. I said he was. Look, I'd like to see something done about the illegal alien problem that would be so sensitive and so understanding about labor needs and human needs that problem wouldn't come up. But today, if those people are here, I would reluctantly say I think they would get whatever it is that they're, what the society is giving to their neighbors. But the problem has to be solved. The problem has to be solved because as we have kind of made illegal some kinds of labor that I'd like to see legal, we're doing two things. We're creating a whole society really honorable, decent, family-loving people that are in violation of the law. And secondly, we're exacerbating relations with Mexico.
If those people are here, I would think that they would get whatever society is giving to their neighbors. And we are creating a whole society of really honorable, decent, family-loving people that are in violation of the law. This is completely antithetical to Trump's quote of rapists and murderers. And here, we're not even talking about illegal immigrants that we want to strip benefits from, but legal ones and US citizens that happen to have families that are immigrants. What happened to that compassion and humanity? It's fucking gone. Okay. Chapter 16, the Department of the Interior. Page 520 has this to say. Given the dire adverse national impact of Biden's war on fossil fuels, no other initiative is as important for the DOI under a conservative president than the restoration of the department's historic role managing the nation's vast storehouse of hydrocarbons, much of which is yet to be discovered. Like we said when talking about the Department of Energy, this is a complete and total lie. The US has drilled more oil under President Biden than under any other president, including Trump. They can't admit the truth because it weakens their whole platform. This bullet point on page 537, by its failure to secure the border, the Biden administration has robbed Indian nations on or near the Mexican border of safe and secure communities while permitting them to be swamped by a tide of illegal drugs, particularly fentanyl. Like these people give two shits about Native Americans living on reservations. This is just an excuse to shoehorn in the almighty border talking point into this section. A talking point that they created themselves when they tanked the bipartisan border bill. They wanted this to be an issue for this election, so they made sure it was by failing to pass legislation that would help the issues on the border. Moving on, Chapter 17, the Department of Justice. Here we go. This one is fun. On page 554, we get this bullet point. Enforce the death penalty where appropriate and applicable. Capital punishment is a sensitive matter, as it should be, but the current crime wave makes deterrence vital at the federal, state, and local levels. What fucking crime wave? Someone needs to show me the numbers because this fucking book doesn't point to any statistic at all backing up that statement. None. Well, I did my own research, and all I could find is this from the FBI themselves, showing that crime is dropping all across the board, and some reports show that crime is at its lowest since the 1960s. So I have to ask, what fucking crime wave are we talking about? Or is this just more scaremongering as an excuse to kill people as a deterrent? A deterrent that impacts the black population disproportionately. As of the end of 2021, 40% of death row inmates were black, while only 12% of Americans were black. That is insane. And because the argument to enforce the death penalty more is based off a fucking lie, only makes it worse. Hey, look at this. Page 562 actually sounds pretty good. It wants the DOJ to spearhead an effort to go after discrimination all across the government. I can get behind this. Wait, something is wrong here. There is no way I'm agreeing with anything that this wretched book has to say. Let's look for some context clues. Oh, yep, there it is. In the paragraph before that, they define discrimination as, let me see, yup, DEI. Fuck. Seriously, can't just not be fucking evil for one chapter? 562 also wants to punish distributors of abortion pills that mail those pills to women that need them. Because like we said last week, this is about control, not justice. 562 through 564 talks about voter fraud, because of course they do. You fucking lost. Get over that. To drive the matter home, they talk about Pennsylvania, where technically the law does not have a method of curing mail-in ballots. But the Secretary of State, not wanting to disenfranchise voters, decided that people who sent in a mail-in ballot that needed to be cured could get a provisional ballot. They hold this up as a sign of surefire election fraud. I fail to see how making sure everyone gets a chance to have their voice heard is election fraud. But nonetheless, this isn't even a federal matter, and the Pennsylvania Supreme Court upheld the decision. This is not a matter for the federal government, but these fuckers just can't let this go. Because they don't want your voice heard. Chapter 18, Department of Labor. This one is a good one. Page 582 wants to reverse DEI policy because they are fucking racist. I'm sorry, I'm just tired of seeing this bullshit, and if you have been paying attention at all to this presidential race, you have heard these fucking bigots cry over and over again that Kamala Harris is just a DEI hire. It's a fucking dog whistle for black. And anytime these fuckers use the term, it's to decry the talent and work of minorities. Fuck them and fuck this passage. Then there's a bolded statement right below that. Issue an executive order banning, and Congress should pass a law prohibiting the federal government from using taxpayer dollars to fund all critical race theory training. The main tenet of CRT is that even though the people working in the system may not be racist themselves, the system itself is a product of its era, and as such is racist. This is hardly fucking surprising, given our government was created by a document that declared a black person to be 3/5 of a person. Racism has been ingrained in our government since its conception, and to think that we have removed all of that is a weird way of thinking. To make matters worse, we are creating new laws constantly that are sometimes inadvertently, or sometimes by design, fucking racist. Look at No Child Left Behind. It created a need for standardized testing to make sure each child was getting the best education they could be. It sounded good, but the problem is that in needing to teach the tests, a lot of stories that weren't Eurocentric and hence didn't fit the test had to be left out, erasing the history of minority children. This wasn't by design, and no one thinks the teachers are racist, but the system is inherently racist anyway. These people are okay with that, though, because this benefits white males, and they don't want to lose that power. They want to prohibit any discussion of this because they don't want you to know how you're getting fucked. Then there is page 584. Once again, this is a fucking quote. Rescind regulations prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, transgender status, and sex characteristics. Because fuck the LGBTQ community? Seriously, I'm at a loss for fucking words. How fucking evil do you have to be to think that this is a good policy idea? Holy fucking shit! Chapter 19, Department of Transportation. Most of this section is just boring, but 633 gives us this bullet point. Require the FAA to operate more like a business, because that seems like a good idea. I'm pretty sure Boeing is a business. How is their safety record? Not great. Page 636 gives us this bit. FRA's notice of proposed rulemaking on crew size is not based on safety considerations. It is designed to reduce flexibility by making it impossible for railroads to operate with crews of fewer than 2 in circumstances where there is no operational need for the second crew member, because trains have had the best safety records lately too. Did we forget about East Palestine, Ohio already? Okay, that is where we're gonna leave this shit show for tonight. Thank you all. I'm Mia Flores. Paulina should be back next week to continue our deep dive into Project 2025. Thank you, and good night.